Welcome to PreVetted Podcast, a blend of tech and leadership. Our guest today is Radoslaw Blasiak. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I apologize if I didn't. He's the founder of the League of Extraordinary Minds, and he's going to share with us a little bit about his journey. Hello, Radoslaw. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Getting late here in Poland, but I'm very, very excited to talk to you.
I appreciate you staying late so we could talk. I was showing you that we still have the sun, so it's amazing that we can.
And I look almost like I would be in Mexico because I have this yellow filter on my video, as you can see.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the League of Extraordinary Minds and what you are doing.
Yeah, so what is the League of Extraordinary Minds? It's basically a tool for teachers and schools and students to learn IT in practical way. So about 10 years ago, programming started to be obligatory in Poland, in Polish schools. And all of a sudden, our government realized that they don't have enough teachers to teach programming. Because in Poland there are, I think, about 20,000 schools. And if one day you want to start teaching programming in all of the schools, you need teachers to do this. And of course, we didn't have so many teachers with such knowledge. And about the time we created our company, and our kids were in schools, and we just experienced how the IT lessons look like computer science lessons, classes looks like in Poland. And we decided to use our experience, knowledge to create some kind of tool for teachers to make them teaching process easier and more effective. And that's why we created the platform, which we named the League of Extraordinary Minds. But it's a web platform with courses of programming languages like Python, like C++, like SQL, Java, etc. And teacher can use these courses, and students can use these courses both in the school and outside of school. So that's how we started in Poland. We started with some pilot program in one of the cities in Poland, and then we grew up, and right now there are among 2,000 schools using our platform here, and a couple of schools also abroad. So yeah, that's what we do.
Very interesting. I noticed you started in 2015, right? So it's almost the 10-year mark.
Yeah, it's our 10th anniversary this year. But the first year we were developing the software. Actually, we started using our platform in schools in 2016. So the next year we will try to make some kind of celebration of 10 years of the platform.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you rather count by the time you launch the platform rather than when you start working on it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it kind of makes sense because that's when you create the impact to the world, right?
Yeah, that's the moment when people, heard about us.
Right. So you were talking about that the teachers are your most, your users, right? You have the teachers and you have the students, right? What is the most surprising bit of feedback that a teacher sent you?
That's an interesting question. Well, I think the most, maybe not surprising, but what was kind of, make the most joy for us was the feedback from all the teachers who were teaching programming in schools, but also was a teacher of Polish language. Like in your school it would be a Spanish teacher, yeah. In our school it was Polish teacher, and he sent us feedback that he never experienced a platform so good written in Polish. Like so correct text, so nicely, with such nice texts in our courses. Not from the technical perspective, but from the literature perspective, I would say.
From the content perspective, right?
Yeah. So this was really, something maybe a little bit surprising. Not very much, because we put a lot of effort to make this content both, correct but also interesting. There is a lot of humor, a lot of connection to culture, etc., etc. It's not strictly, technical.
Yes. I remember I took one of the courses about SQL, and it was very engaging, and it was, like throwing you a problem and then you will solve it, and then a little bit more difficult, right?
Yeah. That's the way. This is the way.
Can you tell us a little bit about the impact that you created to the students and the teachers? Because sometimes we talk about, so what is the purpose of a company, right? The revenue is part, but there's, I believe that there's more to it, right? It's about the people, right? Your team, and then the people that you are serving, right? You're serving them with a software, with a platform, right? That makes their life better, right?
Yeah. I mean, when something is obligatory, it's often like people start to don't like it. Yeah, if you have to read the books because the teacher makes you to read the books, you usually don't like these books anymore. So this was the problem with programming, because every student has to learn programming in Poland. But not a lot of students really like to put this effort to learning programming. It's not easy, as you know very well, I think. So we have, let's say, three groups of students. The not very large group of students which are very interested in programming, and they are doing very well. And they, even if they don't have a good teacher, they can, learn by themselves, be a good programmer or whatever. And we have, of course, kids which are not completely uninterested in programming and don't have this kind of skills or talents to learn programming. And you have kids between those two groups, which are, average students, yeah? And we are really interested the most in these average students, because there are the students that you can lose, or, you can make something from them. Our biggest success, I think, is that programming became, in the schools that cooperate with us, programming became, a broad activity. Very many students starting to learn programming because they find it funny with our platform. They find it engaging, and all of a sudden they didn't expect of themselves they can program anything, and now they can. We have many examples of students from small cities, even villages. They never thought about programming, and now they are good programmers. We have students that started with our platform 8 years ago, and they are now teachers of programming in schools, because they go through whole the education, high school and university level, and then started to be just teachers. So there are a lot of successes connected to our platform somehow. I don't think that the impact is enormous and everything is because of us, but for sure we have some impact in Polish education in this area of information engineering.
Usually what I see with these government mandates, usually what happens is that if there is this mandatory programming in schools, that usually means low quality class, right? Low quality content, right? Because it's mandatory, who cares, right? That's what I usually have seen, right? So
that's true.
I mean, you being able to raise the bar to build something that, because now when you're competing, then now you can compete to build something better than everybody else, right? Being able to win that choice on the teachers and the schools and all that,
yeah.
Right? That makes, from my perspective, right, that makes a much bigger impact. That, other way to put it is, you as a founder will be able to build something much better than what any government, could do.
Yes, that's of course true. So we have many programs, government programs in Poland also, which I would divide to two types. From one type is the government is very successful in providing equipment to schools. Computers, laboratories, screens, etc. It's very good and it's very important, because without this equipment it's tough to teach anything. But the other part is content. Content is very much more problematic thing for government. So there are some government platforms in Poland, but they are very simple, very boring, I would say, maybe. And it's something that private companies can do much better, I think. And this private company in Poland are us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is don't sell it short. Don't sell yourself short. Right? From what I've been reading, I'm seeing that you're generating a lot of impact, right? For a while, I worked at a public school in Argentina, upgrading their computers from cardboard boxes to real computers. They didn't have the budget to buy computers, so they put shoeboxes and draw the keyboards, right? Which, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's not the hardware, it's the software, right? The interesting thing, right? When I saw that, I was thinking they miss the point of the computer, right? It's not the box.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you can do. You can learn programming without a computer, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, especially younger kids. There are a lot of also good products for this. So yeah, but absolutely you can teach a lot of algorithmics without computers.
Right.
For younger kids. But there is a moment that you have to switch to computers because nothing makes sense without computer at the end of the day.
Yes. But I saw that as a missed opportunity. Like the teachers didn't understand how to teach about programming, right? So I was going to ask you a little bit about Poland, the Poland startup scene. Can you tell us a little bit more? How is the startup scene in Poland, or in, I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, Wrocław?
Wrocław.
Sorry?
Wrocław.
Wrocław.
Like Wrocławia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in this field, but I can first of all we are in European Union and it matters very much because I would say the law, company law, etc. is very similar in European countries, and you have to bend to some rules which are presented by European Union. So I think the startup scene is very much similar in most European countries. There are not so much funding opportunities as, for example, in US. There are a lot of more rules, I think, which you have to follow. So it's not very easy. However, on the other hand, you have some European funds that you can apply for. There are every couple of weeks some kind of competitions for these fundings. So you can apply for this, and if you are a good idea or a good team or a good, I don't know, proof of concept or whatever, you can get some money like we get a couple of years ago for advancing our company to Middle East. There was some program from European Union which supported companies to expand to Middle East. We can use this money to go to some kind of exhibitions, fairs in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, and some business trips. So we have some money from this, but I wouldn't say that it's very different than in other countries. There are a lot of young people. The education is very good in Poland. One of the, I think, maybe 10 best education system in the world. I'm looking at the education research. It's called, I think, PISA or PISA, I guess. So there is every 3 years you can check how the education system in every OECD countries works. So we are always at the top. So there are a lot of people which trying to start companies, and I think it's okay, but it's not something that you would, I don't know, think about every day. How good we are in startups. I think we are average in this.
You have the benefit of the European Union because you can basically all your market is the EU, right?
Yeah, it's a single market. It's easy to sell your products or services in European Union if you are inside. But there are two sides. This is good, but on the other hand, the strict rules are not so good. So maybe it's kind of black and white picture and gray.
Yeah, I mean it's always the issue, the dilemma. Regulations kill innovation, right? The cars in the 90s were much lighter, right? But they were unsafe. So in that sense, it was good because now cars are safer, right? Probably less reliable, right? But but they're safer-ish, So there is some benefit for regulation, but it also means that for instance, if you want to launch a new car in the US, it's a nightmare, right? So companies basically don't do it, right? They don't. The US don't have a lot of the cars that they have in other markets, right? So Suzuki, for instance, moved out of the US because of that, right? They just stopped selling cars there. So anyway, I'm digressing, but that's what I'm saying. Regulation kills innovation, right? It also brings some positive things, right? Privacy laws in the EU, right?
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, it's not easy to judge what is better.
Right.
What a lot of people like to do, simplify everything, but it's not so simple.
Yes, I get it. Can you tell me a little bit more about Poland? I mean, it's our nation, but I inherited, I told you this story, right? My grandma left Poland when she was 4 or 5 years old, right? So I became a citizen, Polish citizen. My mom got it, and I got it. And I don't know if you know this, but so my mom got it because she was a daughter of a Polish citizen, but my dad could not because he's married, so he can get a spouse visa, right? But
Okay.
he cannot work, right? And then I can get the citizenship because my mom has a citizenship, but then my wife cannot get the citizenship. She can get the spouse visa, right? Or I probably don't say the name correctly, but it's something like that, right? We did the process, right? Because at one point we were considering moving there, right? But I know it's connected with my identity, but it feels so foreign because I know so little about it, right?
Yeah.
And when the ambassador was giving me my birth certificate, right, and my passport, she asked me, "Do you speak Polish?" And I said, "No." And she was like,
Yes.
"But you should. You should learn Polish because, she was right." I felt so embarrassed about that. Yeah. And I said, "You're right." Yeah. I have no argument. Yeah.
I'm strongly against it. I'm not advising you to learn Polish. It's very difficult.
Oh, really?
Yes, I mean, I don't know if there is other language as difficult as Polish. You can probably, you can't probably learn it when you are not when you are older than 2 years old. It's not a good idea. No, I'm joking. Of course, you can start to learn Polish, and I can help you with this, but it's difficult. It's difficult.
Right.
And what about Poland? Wow, I don't think I can, tell you about Poland very shortly. Anything interesting? It's in the, it's in a connection between East and West, basically. From one side, right now we have Latvia, Belarus, Ukraine from the east, but 25 years ago it was USSR, so it was Russia, basically, all of these countries. Then, after communists, broke, they divided to many countries, so we have a lot of different neighbors right now, but it was the Soviet bloc, basically. And on the other side we have Germany. So we have, from one side we have Russia, and from the other side we have West Europe, and in the south we have Czechs and Slovaks. So there are a lot of countries around us. We are in the middle of this. The history is difficult because through hundreds of years we were, in conflict with these neighbors, both with Russia and Germany, and also with Austria and Hungary. So it's very complicated. And I think the most beautiful thing that happened to Poland is European Union, because, there is 8 years of peace in Europe now, and it never happened. So long period of peace among these nations. There are, 40 nations, and they always fought with each other. So it's really nice to be in this place. And when I hear from different sides, like President of the United States complaining about European Union, I always think you are not a very, very wise person, because you either you don't you don't know what you are talking about, or you wish people bad luck, because the worst what could happen is to this country to split again and start to fight with each other. So right now is everything is great in Poland. We are progressing for 30 years, I guess. Our economy is better every year. The country is, I think, in good condition. The education is good. The economy is good. The demography is not very good because of not many kids are coming to the world. But who knows? Surroundings are also difficult, as you know well enough. There is a war between Russia and Ukraine, so it's on our border almost, and who knows what will happen. So we spend a lot of money now for military, buying everything what we can: tanks, planes, ships, ammunition, and whatever, and trying to live happy life.
Right.
Right.
I agree with you. The is underappreciated worldwide, right?
Yeah, hugely underappreciated.
Sometimes I think that worldwide is who speak out loudest rather than who does better things, right? So yeah, it's a very, and that's why the question, right? Because for me it overshadows a lot of the good things that are happening, quietly,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just normal life. You have to appreciate just normal life, without any international adventures, I would say.
Right, and it's one of the places that I want to go to visit in the next year or so. Take my son, I have a 10-year-old, so take my family, and
You are welcome. If you come, you can we can show you our country.
that would be lovely.
Your
Yes,
country, your country almost.
yes, because it's. I mean, here in Mexico there are great things happening, but I was thinking about this today. We have this pre-colonial, I don't know if to call it like that, but a pre-colonial culture, right? That is very rich, that is, before the Spanish came into Mexico, right? Spanish and, British and many people, but they have a lot of culture there. Then when you see the 20th century, the culture is going down in terms of discipline, in terms of values, right? And, we have a lot of organized crime, right? And the people live a life like romantics. Romantics comes from the World War II, where 40,000 people die per day. You wouldn't know. It's like we live now because we don't know if we're going to live tomorrow, right? So we'd rather enjoy now when we have the opportunity. It's kind of like that. So there's a lot of more of a hedonistic lifestyle and culture around that. So that makes it difficult to grow as a community towards becoming better people, right? I mean, that's not the general rule, right? But then when you get into the professional world, then it's more formal, but still there's a lot of alcohol involved. My wife was recently, she's my co-founder and CFO of the company, but she's running another startup with her brother, and they are doing industrial kitchens for their multiple plantations. So they're providing that service to those plantations, feeding 500 people a day and whatnot. Anyway, and they did this conference, and then she was telling me that everybody was getting drunk. It was it was a very became a it became a cantina in the evening, right? So it wasn't good, right? For business it wasn't good, right? Plus we're used to work with American clients, so for her getting into that environment, it was shocking. So anyway, that's what we're dealing in Mexico, right? That type of culture, right? So anyway, I'm interested to learn more about your culture and your country culture, right? Because when you told me that programming was mandatory in Poland, I was surprised by that, right? And I think that's a great step forward to build a more skillful people.
Yeah, but it's Poland changed enormously through last 25, 30 years. 30 years ago, it was very, very similar to what you are saying about Mexico. Alcohol was everywhere. People were, probably people were much poorer than in Mexico even, because we came out of communism and we lost industries, etc. So it was a huge unemployment in Poland there, like 25 or 30% even. So really, Poland is a different country than 25 years ago. Different country completely. It's I have my sons. I have now 20 something years old, and they don't know what was here before they came to the world. But it was not a very nice place there.
Right. Isn't that amazing? I mean, think about like all the things that we learned. If we were able to transmit that to our sons, right? That makes that will make the Homo sapien, the humans, unsustainable, right? Because as you mentioned, your son doesn't know, doesn't know the previous culture, right? So the way we can do that is because every kid that is born doesn't have any knowledge at all, so he has to learn everything. That is that gives us hope. We have the hope to change, right? To change our culture, change what we can do, reinvent ourselves, right? As a community, as a group.
True. Couldn't agree more with you. So that's how it looks like. Recently, I saw this graph which presents GDP grow in Poland, and it was like 25 years ago we have GDP per capita like half of Japan, and this year we are equal to Japan GDP per capita. So in 25 years we grow to the level of something that we thought is completely unavailable for us. Japan was the something from the clouds, yeah. So advanced society, so rich a country, and now we are on the same level. So it's crazy.
Wow.
It's really crazy. From the perspective of me 30 years ago, it was completely unbelievable that it would happen. And so yeah, it's I think it's a good time for Poland. I wonder how long it will last.
Yes, hopefully, yes. Hopefully it's going to last a long time. Yeah. I didn't know that the GDP per capita in Poland is similar to Japan. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't believe it either. It's probably, maybe it was adjusted to, I'm not sure how it calls, purchasing power or something like this. But either way, it's enormous distance to reach in such a short time, really.
Yes, I mean 25 years is nothing for a country, right? Yeah, but it's a new generation, right? So you were mentioning that the I think it's called renovation rate, right? Or something. No, I don't remember the name, but it's how many kids per capita or per family are being born. So if a country is below, I think, 1 or average 1, it means that population is declining, right?
Yeah, it's below 2.1.
2.
Yeah. So we are now about, I think, 1.2 or something like 1.4. So it's not good. But it's I think all the West has the same problem. So that's how it is.
Yes.
The richer the country is, the worse is the demography.
Yes.
The best demography is in Africa right now. So it shows you where is, the poorer countries are better.
The poor countries have more kids. Yes. So tell me, we have a few minutes more, but, tell me a little bit more about what are your plans, what you want to achieve, in the next 12 months?
We have, I'm not sure about the business plans, but from our perspective of development of our platform, the biggest step now is beginning of AI course. We are creating with Wrocław University of Technology. No, sorry, just Wrocław University, because we have 2 universities in Wrocław. The Wrocław University is a very good university. Probably the computer science department is among 30 the best computer science department in the world in this university. They help us to create this AI programming course. It focuses more on technical part of AI, so how to create models. If you know some Python, you can build some structures which can be used as a foundation of of AI, of machine learning, of neural network, etc. So we are at the beginning of publishing this course, and next year we'll probably finish this course. So it's going to be published by some models every couple of months. So it's going to be, I think, revolutionary somehow for us. First of all, because AI is everywhere now. Everybody is talking about AI, but mostly about how to use AI. And our course is from the other side, from the technical side, how to create this. So it's going to be, I think, very impactful for us. And it also was very demanding from technical part of our team, because it has to implementing this course was difficult for us. It's not like Python, it's not like C++, when you can create little snippets, little lessons and check something, and all of a sudden you have much bigger problems because students will train their models, so you have to have more power in your servers, etc., etc. So it was difficult, and we are at the last stage of dealing with these problems right now. So probably next month we'll publish first lessons. And second part, we are working also on some gamification models on our platform, which will make it even more fun for our students. So these are two major differences which will happen in a couple of months. And from business perspective, I think Poland will stay our main market, because there are a lot of European Union funding for schools for such kind of modern education. So we'll try to reach for these fundings and equip our schools in our with our platform, and we'll try to expand also abroad. I don't know how successful we'll be in this. Middle East is on the plan, and also Europe. I told you we are going next week to Berlin to some huge technology exhibition.
Right.
GITEX Europe in Berlin. So we are trying to reach a couple of places in the world and do something. And we will have the 10th anniversary of our platform next year. So we will try to make it international competition. We'll invite some schools from all around the world to participate in this competition. So who knows what happened. I'm
Interesting.
moderately optimistic about next year.
Right. Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you about AI, but you kind of answered. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm wishing you the best of the success.
Yes, I can't wait to see this. I mean, of course, I already test this lesson, some of these lessons, but when we publish it, it will become real. Yeah, so I will share with you the first lesson also for you to check what you think about them.
Yes, please do, because my mom is teaching my son coding. I don't remember. I can send you the platform that they are using, but basically they are teaching. They're working with blocks, so he's drawing blocks instead of code, right?
Scratch maybe they are using Scratch.
I think code.org, and he has another one. I can send you a link so you can look it up. Basically, he trains the LLM with photos of his teddy bears, right? So you have the rabbits, you have there is it's called Dr. Simi. It's a little doctor that it's this low cost pharmacist. So it has its own teddy bear, right? So different teddy bears, and then depending on which one you show, it says, oh, it's probably this, it's probably that, So they were playing with that, and my son was super excited about it, right? So I'm thinking, well, then the next step is, we're working toward, or she's working towards getting into code, right? So yeah,
it's very nice. That's
very interesting. And the AI, it's a great thing now. I was at GitHub in San Francisco, and they had the Google AI, head of Google AI, Y Combinator, who else was there? Big players, and basically they were saying that Google Ads the business model is going to disappear, because now people, instead of using the search, they're going to use the prompt. So then the ads won't make sense. They have to reinvent how they're doing ads, right? So that's going to happen very, very soon. The bottom line was, this is like the 2000s, where there are so many new open opportunities for things to do, that now AI first applications can radically change, and basically replace a lot of current tools that we're using, right? So they're saying that there's an open field of opportunities to do there, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, it makes sense that you're doing AI courses, because I think there's a lot of power there. I mean, AI is not going to replace programmers, but it's going to replace programmers or developers that are using AI, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to really predict what will happen. Yeah, it's a very, very dynamic situation, I think.
Right. Yeah, and I can understand, having LLMs running around and, just doing the training and all that. Basically, it literally changed your whole architecture of your backend, right? Just for that course, right?
Yeah, it's an issue. I think you have to be very careful, especially in schools, introducing AI, because what would be the worst thing is to make kids stop thinking and just using AI to solve their problems, because that's what people do. Yes, they would choose the easiest path. So kids in the schools also will try to use it, and already are doing this. So I think you have to find some balance between allowing kids to use AI for helping them solve problems, but on the other hand you have to make kids be creative, be critical thinkers, and not rely on AI in everything. So I think it's very difficult, and it's not very obvious that it's that in education is a good thing. I think it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my teacher saying, don't use a calculator, just, do the writing by hand. I grew up, my dad was at IBM, so I grew up around computers when I was a kid, right? So in my mind, I was thinking, why would I spend time writing when I can just type, right? Which it's the easiest path. Right. So I was thinking, I can type everything in the future. I don't need to write, right? So now my handwritten letter, it's not very good, right? It took me a lot of effort to make it better, because I grew up with that, idea, right? So
I relate.
I think that there is some of that, people used to say, oh, the kids are, they get so immersed on newspapers or books, right? Now the phones, right? And we keep saying those type of things. But so I think that there is some value of using this type of tools, but also on the other hand, the AI tools, they can process everything for you. So then there is no critical thinking, right? And that kind of makes the books and the process of reading books much more valuable than before, because learning the deep knowledge of of how things work, because you can get the answer from an AI, right? Yeah, the shallow answer, right? But the why and the why and the why, right? There is a level where the AI cannot help you, right? So understanding the how everything works until the zeros and one. That will make this type of engineers, software engineers, will be much more interesting to hire, because they would understand how everything works, right? Awesome. So I appreciate very much you're taking the time and staying late so we could talk, right?
My pleasure.
We've been scheduling this call, and then we both had to cancel at one point. So it was great that we were able to meet. Actually, I delayed a flight so we could have the call today in my studio, I guess, right?
Great. Thank you very much for your time, and it was my pleasure to talk to you. I hope to talk to you soon again.
Yes, we'll stay in touch.
Sure. Please do.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.